I'll start.
Yes,
Uh,
ladies first.
my name is Lila Bai. I've graduated the art school in the section of painting. I have no idea of digital art and digital process. Unfortunately I didn't manage to make a career from this, but it remains my passion and what I do in my free time. Painting, unfortunately not on this wall, but all around. I can share with you some of my things in the end. About NFT and digital art, I found out from Leroy. He made me an induction. Actually, what does it mean? Because for me, it was always art meaning doing something with my own hands. I started to investigate and downloaded the programs which helped me to develop myself and to learn actually how I used to create digital paintings. And there with this was it was the start for me. In my case, I'm a self-learner, trying to find courses and learning platforms online, because now it is very accessible for everyone. And if you are a creative person, you can develop yourself and find out resources how to make your art also in digital, not just in painting, how it was in my case. So this is a short introduction of how I came to learn and to develop myself in digital art. And honestly, for me at this point, it's taking so much more time to create something digital comparing to make something live, because while you are processing for a longer period of time, your hand is already working differently. But when you see like working on a pad or using with your mouse, the things are completely different.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
My job, it's much easier. I'm the geek one, let's say. I'm the one who is always searching new things. And in the summer of 2021, I think that I found out about NFTs the first time, and I was intrigued about it. I couldn't understand at that time. At that point, I couldn't understand exactly what does it mean. I had an idea of the blockchains, but I'm fortunate enough to have some friends that they presented me. They already started these NFTs, and I said to Lullaby, look, why don't you take on this path? It's something new. It's something fun. We can have a bonding together, because we are. I don't know if you figure it out, or if somebody figured it out on Twitter space or in our community, but we are a couple. So this is like a very nice project for us, and it's it meant a lot for us. It's our own creation, but my part, it's like much easier, because I'm in charge with engaging with the community, learning about technology, and to develop some features with some friends that they initially recommended us to come here on Koinos community. But she's the mastermind and the creative mind, and she's putting all the effort into all this art, and it took us, I think, like almost 2 years to wrap everything up, and we had to adapt when we made the transition, because initially the project had to be put on Ethereum blockchain, but we have a friend that he's very good, and he knows very well his way in Web3. And he said, "Look, put aside the project for a couple of months, and I will give you a hint." And he's the one who led us to Koinos community. So here we are.
Well, interesting. Lot of interesting things there. I definitely want to, at some point, get back to why you ultimately chose Koinos. I can make guesses, but I'd love to hear it directly from your mouths in case I'm wrong. And then how that choice has been. I definitely want to hear that. I loved the part about you being a couple. I really want to have that with my wife at some point. I'd love to have a shared project. Right now, it's our kids, our tiny little kids. So we do that. That's great. I highly recommend it. But so I'm very jealous of you guys. I think fusing work and life, that's my dream, which probably says a lot about me. But my work is my love, right? So I get to work on Koinos every day. So that's really cool. And creativity, that's the hard part, right? That's something that, AI can't even do for us right now. And really that fusion of the pragmatic mind, of the person who can make the business run, for lack of a better term, and the creative mind, the person who can put imagery and narrative to what you're doing, because without those things, it's just a soulless endeavor. So that's such an amazing union that you guys have there. I wanted to mention something that I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen more people do. I wonder if you've thought about this, but and part of it is the what's the right feeling, the right way of saying it, but the shame that you're not using your hands and that you're not creating the real art. Have you and the feeling that I have this feeling that there is too much, people are thinking too much in terms of these large NFT series with a high degree of variability. There are other ways to release tokens. There are series. And also one thing that we discussed internally that we think has a lot of promise is using the blockchain more or less as a receipt for the art. So, maybe you do a big digital collection, but what about, one item with a very high floor price, where you actually get a physical piece of art? I mean, to me, I'm like, why aren't you just painting for real? And then the NFT is a photo of the painting, all this digital stuff. Yeah.
That's a great question, and I'm glad that you asked about it, because we had like an idea telling something similar to this. Well, initially the collection, I think it's supposed to be like 1,500 pieces, when it used to be on Ethereum blockchain. When we came to Koinos, the thing is that we know how these collections are made, because you are just making some layers. And I think for us and for Lullaby, she actually said that this is cheating. It's not a real art that you are doing. If you are doing just some layers and you are randomly putting them together and assemble like 1,000 pieces of art, let's say. So initially we had an idea about this, and when we came to Koinos, we wanted to make a smaller collection, and we wanted to be unique. Like each art is made individually. Each piece art is made by Lullaby, and it's inspired by things that we both love. let's say music. We have like a tribute to the Prodigy band. We have like a tribute to audio tapes back in the 90s with the pen when we rewinded like we had like the one of the iconic things in music that was made the Apple the iPod. So sorry, the iPod. So we have all of this. Each NFT, each Eve, it's like a unique collection of something that we love, something that we shared together or individually, something that inspired us. Each and one of the 101 pieces has its own story. To answer to your question, well, this is like the ultimate goal for us with the art, to have like pieces of digital art that can be also collected like a physical ones. And I don't know if you are aware of our giveaway. We had one giveaway a few weeks ago for one of our owners. So we had like a random org giveaway, but only for the owners. So we put only the numbers that were of the NFTs that were sold, and we have here the lucky number 85, which is a Deadpool tribute. I hope that you can see it, and it will be delivered this week in Italy to one member of our community. I think is nobody local or something like this. I have his real name and his address, but these are private. Yeah, so we will continue to make giveaways with physical paintings. And what you said about a bigger painting and like a bigger art, something like more who will take more time to create and who will have like a higher price floor. I think it will be done this year. But right now we are also working with some. We are constantly trying to involve other members from the community in our project, and we received some invitations to join some other projects. So we are willing to and very open to collaborate. And I think that this is the key, especially now when the community is still a little bit smaller, and we know each and one of members of the community, the ones that are active in and that are building on Koinos. And we were thinking about this possibility, but also we will need some support, technical support from the developers, because we were thinking to put like a painting starting from 100 coin, but it has to be like an auction, because we don't want to super evaluate our creations. And when I'm saying our own, I'm speaking in plural, but she's the one who is creating them. But we don't want to put our own value, because in my opinion, each piece has to be sold at least 1,000 coin. But the value is not made. We cannot put the value of this. The market will put the value. So there are some technical issues, because on collection we don't have the possibility to have an auction right now, and also with the Coin Crew, which is another marketplace, they also didn't develop this right now. But in the future, we are right now we are speaking with Coin Crew. I hope that they are not mad that I mentioned them, but we are they are waiting some details from our side to create something new and something intriguing on Koinos blockchain.
Very cool. Yeah, part of the problem is that it's just it's a new ecosystem, and all the things people want to do, you can't necessarily do them yet. And I think that's part of the reason why I like your approach so much. Building a community, understanding, getting that direct feedback from people, using the tools that exist to deliver something. And I hear what you're saying about the market price thing. We think that that's a core value of Koinos is enabling people to tap into markets and leverage markets in ways they wouldn't have before. I mean, you mentioned not being able to make it as an artist. Almost nobody can. Almost nobody makes any money as an artist. But I think that this is a key area that blockchain and Koinos in particular can provide a ton of help, because it's really about giving people more direct access to liquid markets. And that sounds like this technical economic mumbo jumbo stuff. But the point is, I have something that I think can provide value to someone out there. How can I do it? How can I get that thing into their hands and their money into my hands? And without blockchain, you start a company, you got to start a company, you got to fire up you got to do all this stuff. And so, and if you're on another blockchain, there are all these other barriers that are really preventing you from monetizing, especially if you're not going to you got to make that much more money. And so I think that's part of the reason why NFT markets have evolved the way that they have, is a lot of it is in part due to gas fees and what you need to do to overcome the gas fees. And so what we're all working together on is, okay, well, now that we don't have that constraint, what's the right way to do this? How do we leverage this? And really important to me is, how do we leverage this in a way that is very meaningful and true to us? When you remove barriers and constraints, you free people to explore themselves almost more purely, I think, right? Because when you hit a limitation, you have to adapt. You have to adapt to that limitation and conform to that limitation. We want to remove those, and that is very much, this isn't like a metaphor. It's literally about freeing, removing that limitation to free you to express yourself better. And yeah, there's all this technical crap that we're doing. But ultimately it needs to be in service of enabling like meaningful production, meaningful activity. Now, as far as the pricing though, one thing that I did want to bring up is, I hear this was kind of what I was trying to get at. Of course, I'm all in favor of leaving something up to the market. But I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm not going to reform economics or anything like that. But I think that there is a big need. People are working from home more than ever. AI is further disrupting the work environment, however you want to think about it. I think our environments and making them beautiful is becoming of increasing importance. And really up until now, and I apologize for the kind of stream of consciousness approach I'm taking this, but I feel like up until now, art has really been for the very, very few, the very elite. And it's almost as much about money laundering and speculation as it is about beauty. And I think that's in the process of changing. And so when I think about, I would love some better art. Not that that's great. That's my sister-in-law's. This is me. So whatever, great. But
Great.
you know, more, I would love to have more and better art, but I would love it to be meaningful and connected to other people, and you know, people who share values and a vision of the future with me. And so if you know, I'm telling you this, but at the same time, if you spend a week on a painting, and you say the base price of this is 1,000 coin. And again, going back to the tooling, I don't even know if this is possible, right? You said that auctions aren't even, you know, up, whatever, right? Like, of course it depends. But like, assuming that you can, you know, putting that up and saying, look, this is what my time is worth. This is what I think that this is worth. I don't think that's against wanting that market validation, because there's also some communication that you're doing with the market as well. You're saying, look, this is how much I value this. You know, this is how much work I put into this. And if you won't buy it for this, you know what? I'll keep it. I'll keep doing my other things, and maybe you can buy it some other time. Now it could be that it's a tooling thing, and that gets back to why it's so important for us to be communicating like we are right now, why the community development engagement is so important, because Koinos is almost like a corporation. It really is a decentralized organization itself. And Koinos Group plays a role here. We've got developers like Julian and Roman and Frank building stuff. And if you guys need features in order to express yourselves better, and deliver more products and services to the market, which I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, art is an incredibly valuable product, you know, then we need to figure out, Koinos Group and the other Koinos developers, we need to figure out what those features are and how we could deliver them to you. And the last thing I want to say, is a bit of a rant, just because you brought up so many interesting topics, is that I think so first of all, I think in 2024, in my mind, something we really need to focus on and think about and make progress on as a community is the Koinos culture. What is it? Right? You know, showing the world what our culture is, because understanding it ourselves and then communicating it to the world, because people aren't going to want to join anything if they don't know what the culture is, or if the culture is a bad one. And I think art and things like what you're doing are critical to achieving that. But the other part of it is that I think we need to do things that touch the real world. And I think that's part of why I want to bring up this real art component to it, because we need to figure, it doesn't have to be the most elegant technical solution. It can be hacky. I think, especially if we're honest about it being hacky, but trying to, do you know the word hacky?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay. But pushing to figure out how we can bring this technology into the real world, in part because I believe that is one of the things that sets Koinos apart. That's, in my mind, that is really one of the things it is for. It is for bringing blockchain into the real world, because in the real world, you don't pay fees every time you do something. When you walk up to somebody, when you send them a message, when you hear what they have to say, that is a very not real world type thing. But when we remove that, we open up opportunities to bring blockchain into the real world and to show people this is what owning your digital life looks like and feels like. So sorry that I went all over the place. I definitely want to get to, and I think you touched on it already, but what you guys hope to accomplish in the future, what your vision is, where you're hoping to go with all this, and as a bonus, how the Koinos journey, how the decision to leverage Koinos, how that's wound up. And I want to hear the good and the bad, especially if there's bad, I want to hear about, why you made that choice, how that's going, and the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
One thing that I like what did you say about giving it to the real life? I want just to add something about the collection itself, because why we've decided to make it based on a unique idea, because for us it was very much about the message, and we wanted to express ourselves and to share a bit of us to everyone. So the entire creative process, it was a bonding for us, because we were thinking together, okay, which character will be the next one. So which was our favorite movie, what is our favorite activity. We are like passionate about food, so we got this NFT and the fans of cheese that have this cheesy element, and we started in the background, we started to think how to deliver a message per each character. And before launching and going live with it, we also shared with some of our friends and just asked them to give, to interpret it, to have, to see what they understand for each work. And it was really interesting that each of them could come up with his own story, because the elements used in the creative character itself, it got a story. It's not just a picture, it got a message. And it was really interesting to see about how do the people outside that do not know the story can give a story for it. This I wanted to point out, because the message and the creative process, it's not just to deliver a beautiful picture. It's not the message that we want to receive. We want also to have a content. We want to have not just a beautiful picture, but an idea, a message, a tribute.
Elements from the real life.
Elements from real life, and that we rely with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, so I think this is what Lullaby wants to say regarding the thing that you said, that you want to bring life to the art. So all the collection that we launched it's a piece of us built there. So and some of our friends, we have like three friends that they joined Koinos only to buy the art. They said, "Look, I just want the picture. Send me the picture. I don't want." I said, "No, you cannot have the picture. If you want it, you will buy it. And you have to pay for it." Yeah, it was
in coin. You mean?
Yeah.
You like force them to use Koinos?
Yes, of course.
Interesting.
And for us, you said earlier to tell you about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, the good, I think it's obvious for everyone. Free to use blockchain. I mean, this is you cannot beat free. You cannot beat free. So for us, I started to tell you in the summer 2021. I found out about NFTs, and until I understood them, I said, okay, let's create something and let's put it there. We saw like the Bored Ape sold for I don't know how much, the all these NFTs that are sold, and I thought that each one of them it's sold with that amount of money. I didn't know that it's with the rarity and everything. And I said, okay, let's upload an image. my niece. She had like 9 years that time. She made a digital painting in Paint, something. I said, "Oh, perfect! I will upload this on OpenSea." And just to upload that one piece of digital art, it cost me like $80. So, as you said, the artists are not making money, but besides not making money, they have to put some money just to just to
They're losing money.
hope that somebody will buy this painting. So this is the best thing that is about one of the best things that is about Koinos. The bad thing, and I don't know, it's actually a bad thing. It's the fact that we are right now at the beginning. So we really think that this is very fortunate for us, because we had our friend who recommended us to join the network, the blockchain, a few months after its or 1 year. I think that at the end of 2022, if I remember correctly, you started it. So we joined around April last year. So it was like a few months after. I think that we are fortunate enough, because if we will project ourselves from 5 years from now, where will it be, Koinos, and where will Eve, the project Eve, will be? I mean, the sky is the limit. Endless possibilities. So, and also I want to point something regarding. You said earlier, if we will need some help and support developing some things. I think yes, everyone on the blockchain will have this, but I think that there are still much more important things than art right now to be developed. But I'm sure that the people who love art, and as you said, there is only a niche who likes art, and who wants to buy some art, and who really appreciate the art. I think that from time to time and from month to month, as Koinos will grow, and also the apps will be developed, I think that new features will be added to the apps that are already developed on Koinos, like collection. I know that they are working since last year to have the live 3D of the NFTs, and this also, I suppose that they will think about, and if they will see this this interview with us, I'm sure that they will start developing the auction feature on their marketplace. I'm sure. I'm not very technical. I like technology and I embrace it. I really like it, but I cannot develop things. I'm just observing from distance all the process.
Well, I get that, and the same here. And I think they might be. I don't know for sure, but it sounds familiar to me. There's so much going on, right? I'm sure it's like me. It's hard to keep track. I want to say that that is on their roadmap somewhere, but I'm not certain.
I'm sure.
You said a couple of things. I think the new chain thing that you brought up. I think you're thinking about it exactly right. Koinos is new, and that means that it's a bit immature. Tooling isn't robust. All the features aren't there in the applications. The documentation needs to be totally revamped. It's going to be it's a huge priority for us. but also there's that's where the opportunity is when you're early to something, when something is new and it has a lot of potential. So absolutely, there's a lot of work to be done. The other thing I wanted to highlight is that you said something about art and it not being important. Or there's other important things to work on, but to me, it's like if we're only ever solving technical problems, we're not really delivering a platform that offers real solutions. Like until artists are using it, until merchants are using, it's easy to be like, well, if Starbucks adopts Koinos as a payment solution, it's like, well, what about the millions of artists out there who could actually benefit from this and have plenty of value to deliver? Why aren't we talking to individual people just like we should be talking to individual developers and understanding their needs? We, Koinos Group, needs to be talking to developers, and the developer needs to be talking to customers. And who are the customers, right? Well, you're here, you're there, you're using it, you're a customer, you're important. And one idea I wanted to throw out to you is that we really need, when you were talking about going to your friends and showing them art and being like, you have to use Koinos to do this. We won't take your money and give you a thing. This is the medium we want to use. This is the platform we believe in. And we're going to make you join Koinos. I'm not saying whether that's the right or wrong thing to do, but for you, but I think as Koinos community members, as developers on Koinos, we should be thinking really long and hard about, hey, these are people who are advocating for adoption here. These are people who are actually going to people who aren't using Koinos, and they're showing something that they're showing those people something that they want, and then actually getting them to sign up and use this thing. And if this is a technology that we actually want people to use, which is certainly the case for me, right? And we think that this has something to offer ordinary people, then supporting people like you is exactly what we should be doing. And I just want to throw something out to you guys, whether there's ways that you can lean into that. And like, weird example, but one of the things I've always wished there was more of was, and I'm not saying to do this, but like merchandise, like Koinos merchandise, right? Ways to communicate to the public, like, hey, I'm part of this tribe. Here's a cool hat. Here's a cool shirt. We've offered them for sale ourselves. It's a weird thing. We're not artists. And, but sorry. I got distracted for a second. I'm not saying advertise for Koinos, but I'm wondering if there's ways that you can lean into it. Like if I knew, right, like you're going out, you're showing art, and you're showing art that is getting people to join Koinos. I'm wondering if there's a way, or maybe that's exactly what you should keep doing. Maybe it is best that it's not like, oh, a Koinos billboard. I'm just wondering, as a Koinos supporter, I want to support you guys, right? I know a little bit more about your story. I know who you guys are. That makes me very interested in acquiring, some of your stuff. I'm wondering if, imagine I thought, what they're doing is helping. How do I support them? Onboard more of those people.
I understand. I really understand what you're trying to say.
I'm sure you do. Real quick, I think what I'm trying to say is, as artists, is there a way that you can lean into, you can take advantage of the fact that we need help telling our story, communicating our culture to the public, and you guys are almost like an interface between the community, the technology, and the public. And if you guys can lean into that, I think that would be powerful. Is that what you thought I was getting at, or did you have a better way of explaining it? Maybe because I'm floundering.
I think right now I cannot think of how can we besides doing the art and besides going to our friends and promoting. Mainly, we are promoting our art, our own art, and with our own art, we are also advocating for Koinos blockchain, because everyone is asking, but what is Koinos? Can I find it on what's the Binance? Can I find it? But where can I do? And I have to explain them. And okay. Besides this, I think that we need to be patient with our own art, because to tell you one disappointing that I personally had, and I didn't share it in the first days with Lullaby. The day before launching, so we launched the collection on 1st of June. In our country, 1st of June is the Children's Day. So our collection is very playful, it's very colorful. And we said, okay, this is a good opportunity, launching it on 1st of June. One day before, we had I think one of the most liked posts ever on Twitter, and also it was very a very liked post on collection Twitter page. It was more than 50-60 likes. Being in a small community like Koinos, and having I think 200 followers at that time, maybe 100 and something, it was huge for us. And we said, oh my God, we will sold out the collection. Right now we are around 40% of our collection sold on collection. So imagine the disappointing, because we said, look, there are 50 persons a lot of engaging on our Twitter, and a lot of people. But I think in the first hour, it was 2 or 3 NFTs bought. We thought that it will be sold out. We had all the collection in the past that we followed on Ethereum blockchain, and we saw that in half an hour they sold out 2,000, 5,000. Okay, after that we said, okay, let's cool. I said, cool down. It's a different time. You are in 2023. You are not when it was the bull run in NFTs. So one thing that I learned during this process is to be patient, and I cannot force anybody to do anything. What can I do is to still promote our collection, because we really believe in it, and each contribution to our project will be used in the future to develop other things. We have a lot of ideas. And ideas that we want to develop and that we want to create. And we hope that in the near future, we will be able to sustain ourselves only from this project that came out like a side project. And it was a soul project for us to have a free time of bonding together and learning about digital art. And we are learning right now every day. Since we are on this project, we are still learning about Koinos blockchain, about apps that are developed here, and about trading coins, and so on. Each day we still we are learning. from the community. So we hope that in the near future, in 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 years, we will be able to sustain ourselves from this project that it's built on Koinos blockchain. I don't know exactly, because I'm sure that I didn't answer to your question. I don't know how we can advocate for Koinos right now, as I told you, beside putting the work that we are already putting it. And one thing that we will do is, we have like a timeline, a short timeline and the bigger timeline. But on the short one, we are right now, we are at 45% of reaching the soft cap, launching our meme coin Eve, and also we are very close to involve at least 3 projects on Koinos to engage with the community. I don't want to give you more information because we still don't know exactly what will be the final form, but in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we hope that we will launch something that we know for sure that it's unique and that will engage with the community of Koinos. And you said about the culture. I think that we can show the strength of the community, because even if we didn't sold out the collection, the amount of love and support that we received and messages that we have from the community, it's overwhelming. I mean, honestly, it's something that we kept us going and going and going, and we know that in the end, we will sold out the collection, and after that we will be able to go to other things and to develop, as you said, to integrate this. Right now we are still we are also exploring, because we are trying to find a direction. We want to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we want to integrate a lot of things. Lullaby, she, besides painting, she finished also the sculpture art, and also she likes design and fashion design. So all of these things we want to develop in the future with our project, with Eve. We only need time and inspiration, and of course the support of the community, but we cannot complain. I mean, honestly, we cannot complain.
Well, I think that you said a lot of interesting things. The fashion is interesting. I personally, I would love to, like you said, it's just a matter of time. If there is, if everybody had all the time in the world, obviously I'm not suggesting this is a priority, but I wish, that I could have unique clothing, unique attire that was, developed by people who share my values and my interests. And I think that this ties into why I think that you're doing exactly what you should be doing. Your art should not be like Koinos. It should be art. It should be your expression of yourselves and your best expression and the most beautiful thing that you can create. When I say I would love, I would love to have unique clothing, it's as much about supporting fellow community members. And that's what I really think you guys are doing right, and what you're highlighting, and where I think the focus should continue to be, not just for you, but really everybody. It's really about community building. Everything that we're doing, it's really about building that community, growing that community, understanding. Sorry, I got this guy. He wants to be involved. He always wants to be involved. and that's the best way to going back to that culture thing, right? It's come up a number of times. Like, who are we? Why should people want to be a part of what we're doing? And that's why, even though I said this at the beginning, I feel it even more now. We need to be supporting people like you who can help us build that culture, who can help us find our unique tastes, and not have it all be about Koinos. Even I have that tendency. Even I have to overcome that. But it's precisely by not making it about Koinos and instead using Koinos to help us fulfill our dreams, really. And the way we like to put it is, and we've talked about this a lot internally. I've said it a bunch of times, but I'm sure that people either don't believe us or don't remember, but we really feel that Koinos as a technology is uniquely suited to empowering people to turn their passions into their livelihoods. And we went back and forth internally at Koinos Group, trying to understand, what is this product? What do we love so much about it? Why did we build it the way we did? What does it offer that nobody else offers? And, we're very different people, the people who make up that team. But where we came to a consensus is like, that's why we did this. This is our passion. And we want to empower developers to turn their passions into their livelihoods. It's not about like creating, like, look at these old systems. Look at the internet. It's all about building $1 trillion company. Everything has to be a unicorn. Well, what about the person who just wants to earn a decent living? What about the millions of people who want to create something of value, who want to be fairly compensated, and who want to be able to live a reasonable life? What do they have? And, that's what we think is the core of Koinos and what makes it so great. Now, we have to build up a culture around that. How do we build up a culture around that? How do we build up the visuals, the stories, the narratives? And I think it comes back to building up communities, forming communities, supporting one another. You guys telling collection what you need, us telling you what we would love to see from your art, and brainstorming ideas, and all just working together, collaborating, having faith to a degree that Koinos will align us, that our shared participation in this ecosystem will align us and ensure that however much value we add, we will get that much value back.
That's a great point.
Yes, and then now I was thinking how it was our experience, the collection that created more bonding between us. It was like a collaboration between both of us. It also might
took us
be
to the next level.
Yes.
The relationship took us to the next level.
And I'm also thinking where the point of the community, that it might be a point for us to collaborate between the artists. Maybe it will be a future collaboration between Eve or any other artist to go together to make a shared collection, and to have an input from two artists or three artists, and to create and to brainstorm on a shared collection. And I think it will be also interesting for the community, and when more minds, it might create better things. So from this perspective, I think the collaboration and the networking inside the community might be something really interesting that might come out.
Yeah, I was just talking to my friend Kui, the guy behind Koinos Social, about this, because he really wants to turn Koinos Social into a tool that facilitates what you're talking about. And we were talking about how we really need to focus on internal communications within the community. Focus on building. The key to reaching out is focusing inward, building a community and a culture that people want to be a part of, and then using that to attract other people. Now, that being said, when you mentioned other artists, my mind immediately went to, well, maybe you can fold other artists in, bring other artists in. I think that would be really interesting if I saw, a guest artist. You could show an artist how I think people would be really excited. Oh, they brought in a new artist. Okay, I'm going to be much more open to rewarding this, because this is a new person from the outside. Were you guys already thinking about that?
Yes.
Yes.
That's why we're smiling.
No, yeah, we already talked with other artists and told them about this. So when we choose Koinos, and it was a happy event when our friend introduced us to Koinos, and he said, "Look, do your own research a little bit, but I can give you this information and this and this and this." So a few weeks we watched from distance what's happening on the blockchain, but we were very happy that the things were going. And I said, okay, we can manage with this idea. So I think that it was as I mentioned before, it's a very fortunate event for us, and we were at the right place at the right time, launching our collection on Koinos blockchain. And when we launch it, we have like a lot of friends, artists that are more experienced, and they are doing this like for a living. And we also told them, look, we are here in this community. What do you think? Will you join? Yeah, but so they still don't get this idea of digital art, even if some of them they are working with digital art for different companies, graphic designers. Yes, we have one person who is willing to make a collection with us, and we thought about it, and we spoke about it, but I don't think that it's the right time to launch it right now, since we still have some items on our own collection, our first collection. So I think that we need to prove that we are a successful project, sold out first on the community, and after that we can speak different with our friends and different artists, and to convince them to, but not to convince them to. I don't want to drag anyone here. I just want to share the opportunity, like it was presented to us. So this is why when we launched the collection on Koinos, we said, look, we launch it here and we will stick here. So it's for the long run. This is why we told our friends, if you like our work and if you want to support us, you need to buy some coin, and you need to go on collection, and you need to buy. You need to open a wallet, and so on and so on. So we stayed with them. We helped them, and they own our digital collection now. And I think that the 100 coin, 150, how much they paid for, it was the only amount of coin that they bought. But for us, it was enough, because they showed us the level of support that we needed. Because if our friends, they don't show us the level of support that we hope, then what about the strangers? But the strangers, with strangers in the community, I mean, there are there are a lot of projects, cool projects, cyberpunks, Bitcoin with the K, BTK, that just launched on this platform. I don't remember. They always share the love on every tweet that we put out there. So for us, it's like overwhelming. We don't feel that there is competition. We don't feel that it's a competition. We feel that it's support, but everyone has its own way to show the support. Somebody's buying, somebody's only retweeting, somebody's only commenting, somebody's just showing the like button, and we cannot expect that each member of the community will own one piece of Eve, and this is the only way that you can show us the support and the love. No, we received a lot of and also some messages from the people that we received. It's great. It's great. So this is why we stick with the plan. We are remaining on Koinos, and we hope, and it's only a matter of time until we will develop new things, new feature with our collection. Because as right now it's Koinos, it's also Eve. We are only at the surface. We are with the hand in the ocean, making like small waves on some centimeters square. Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean, and I'm so happy to hear that you guys have felt that love and gotten what you've gotten out of this platform. And I love that you don't feel that competition. I mean, we talk a lot about the technology at a very technical level, but really the underlying design is, there's this old term that I don't think is widely known, but I think it was fairly known in the open source world and early on in like the cypherpunk, in the early blockchain days, of coopetition, where we want to design systems that are not competitive, that where the incentive is to work together. And Koinos and other blockchains are very much designed to foster a collaborative environment, because it's all open source. It's all a shared platform. If you bring somebody in and they're more interested in the Moon Boys or Coin City or whatever, then they benefit. And maybe when somebody comes in through Coin City, they find their way to you and you benefit. It benefits everybody when anyone new discovers this. So, but I can't overstate how proud it makes me that you've felt what you have, that you've gotten what you have out of choosing Koinos. And of course, one of the core design principles of Koinos is making it as easy as possible to leave. And so that if you are not getting what you need out of Koinos, you should not be stuck in here. You shouldn't have all your tokens staked for 3 years, for example, or some crazy thing like that, right? We always want to be pushing the platform to deliver as much value to people. And if they don't feel like that's the case, then they should be free to go somewhere else. As far as you said something I wanted to ping off of, being in the right place at the right time. I think that's true, but I think that also highlights one of the little known benefits or little understood benefits of launching the way that we did. Part of why we did the fair launch is because with a fair launch, it's always the right place and the right time. You have sacrificed a lot by adopting early. You're taking a big risk. And as you've seen, that's not a risk that many people are comfortable taking on. And so you're taking on the risk, and so you're ahead of the curve. But when people come to Koinos when they're ready, when Koinos is mature enough that they feel safe, then that's the right time for them. Nobody was treated unfairly. You're benefiting because you're taking greater risk. And so I just wanted to make the point that while you might feel lucky, you deserve credit for recognizing an opportunity and taking a leap. And I definitely appreciate that you took the leap with Koinos. And the other point that you made about when you show artists and they don't get it and you don't want to be convincing people, I think I totally agree with that. We need to be working together as a community so that when people are introduced to Koinos, there's no but. There's no yes, but, that it's just okay. And we need to be looking at, okay, where did the person stop? Where did the person say yes, but? And we need to all be working. Yes, but there's no mobile wallet, right? Boom. We've got Konio solving that problem. Adriano doing amazing work with that, right? We've been doing it. We need to keep doing it, cutting out the friction points because we can. We totally can. We don't want to be saying, oh, we need to push people. That's what the other blockchains do. They go, we need to convince people that self-sovereignty is everything and that you need to be your own bank. And if you don't adopt this, you're the problem. You're some kind of evil person. That's totally not the Koinos culture. We want to be entirely about, we have people who want to give other people something of value and they want to leverage Koinos to do it. What's stopping them up? What's getting in the way? And there was one last thing, and sorry, we could probably go on forever. But it was something about the thing in reverse. It was, well, I have in my note, timing is everything. I think that's a really important thing. You kind of alluded to it, but I think it's absolutely true. I think it's true in a lot of things, and a lot of aspects of what we're doing. As people who are building, for anybody building on Koinos, I think that's a really important thing to always be bearing in mind. It ties back into what we were just talking about having to convince people. If you have to convince people, the timing isn't right. We shouldn't be working harder to convince people. We should be working harder to knock out those pain points, get rid of those pain points so that the timing is right to introduce people to this thing. And so I think as far as bringing other artists in, I love how you guys are thinking about it. I think it's exactly right. You're testing out the waters, seeing if anyone's interested, exposing artists to the opportunity that's presented. And some will take it and some won't. And we need to, and all of this stuff is valuable information that we can use to make Koinos better and further empower people to turn their passions into their livelihoods. See what I did there at the end?
Nice.
I didn't plan that, but anyway, so we've been talking for a long time. I want to let you go. We can talk more. Let's talk regularly. Give people regular updates about what you're doing. I want to be doing this with all of the developers out there. So if there are people building on Koinos who would love to come on the show or whatever this is, definitely let me know. If you're building on Koinos, I want to help. We want to help. I want to thank you for taking the time. And if there's any last minute things you want to say, or maybe somewhere they should go, check out your collection on Collection with a K. What do you want to say to end this out?
Well, first we want to congratulate for everything that you're doing. We really think that you're doing a great job, and just having this initiative, speaking with talking with people, exposing them to the community, it's hats off. And yes, congratulations, and thank you for having us. It's an honor for us, and keep up the good work. We will do so, and maybe some last thoughts?
Check our collection and see what does it the message that is closer to you.
On collection with the K.
Yes.
Check out the Eve NFT collection. Is
Yes.
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 that all right? Absolutely. Thanks so much. Thanks for the kind words. I'll send you your money later. Really, thank you so much. That means a lot. And let's talk again soon.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye bye.
Have a
Have a
great
nice
day.
day.
Bye bye.